First of all, let us zoom out and go to the 2040 and speak about the economical agenda, how we're gonna divide the city, what's gonna happen. Tell us more about it, please.
Oh, yeah. So I think we need to start from the 2040 because the future 50 years, the next 50 years of Dubai actually comes from that agenda. Now, the Dubai Urban Master Plan was announced by Sheikh Mohammed on the 13th of March 2019, 2021, 13th of March 2021. And the primary focus of the whole agenda was to make Dubai the number one city in the world by 2040. So in 20 years' time, we have to become the best city in the world. Interestingly, in just 2 years after that, we became number three on the planet already. So I think we'll probably hit number one way before 2040.
Absolutely.
Yep. So what is the plan? The Urban Master Plan is looking at developing the economic viabilities and futures of this city, but it is also breaking up the entire city, the future of Dubai, into five main areas: three existing areas and two areas that will be developed in the future. They've started already in these areas. The first is the Deira and the Burj Dubai areas, where focus will be on culture, tradition, history, and legacy of the city. So that will continue to see developments, but the story of Dubai and how we got built is going to come from these areas. In fact, if you go to the frame in Karama, and when you get in, the very first thing you're introduced to is the legacy and the history of Dubai. So you will see the old Dubai, the Deira and Burj Dubai. So we introduce even the tourists into our city first to the legacy of the city. And that is something we have to protect. It is our heritage. That is going to be one area. The second area is the business, commercial, and the financial hub, which is the downtown business bay, and the DIFC comes into that area. We already have one of the most profitable financial centers in the world in DIFC. 17 of the top 20 global banks are all in the DIFC area. 7 of the top law firms, 13 of the most prestigious investment firms. For example, UBS, which is the number one wealth management bank in the world, they've got offices in the DIFC area. You've got the regional headquarters of the Standard Chartered, the HSBCs, the Citibank, the Barclays, MasterCard, and Visa. They're all in that area. It is very, very clear that we are the next big thing for business in the Middle East. So the second zone is the economic, financial, and commercial zone. The third zone or area is for tourism recreation, and that is the Dubai Marina JBR. That area has been classified, which will of course include into it the blue waters and the palm that we have. So that is for the tourism and future activities. The fourth area that is coming up is the Silicon Oasis area, which is going to be focusing a lot on knowledge, technology, and innovation. It will become the innovation hub of the city. And the fifth one, which is already launched and started in a big way, is the Dubai South area, which is going to be focusing a lot on logistics. It's going to focus on affordable housing spreading into the desert, industrial development, as well as events and exhibitions, the large scale ones. We've seen the Dubai International Air Shows. We just had COP28 that was held there. We had the Expo. So you're going to have all these global, huge, big exhibitions and events happening in that area. So these are the five areas: culture and tradition. Then we have business, finance, and commerce, which is the second one. Tourism and recreation is the third. Knowledge, technology, and innovation is the fourth area. And the fifth area is logistics, exhibitions, events, and affordable lifestyle. And we're going to get industrial. These are the five areas. Now, part of the urban agenda was to develop to become one of the strongest economies in the world. And you will actually see in the plan there is 168 square kilometers of land dedicated to industrial and commercial development. 168 square kilometers is coming up over the next 20 years as part of that. In addition to that, hotels and hospitality and recreation, the space dedicated to that is going to increase by 134%. 60% of the emirate is going to become green, and sustainability is the key going forward. So we are looking at an agenda that is looking at the future of the world, because today we are moving away from the natural resources into renewable resources around the world. And Dubai is putting a lot of focus on that as part of sustainability. We are going for the LEEDs City Council ratings, gold or platinum, which requires a very heavy focus on sustainability for the future, renewable fuels rather than the fossil fuels. That was the original vision of the Dubai Urban Master Plan. Now, developing from that vision, we came to the Dubai Economic Agenda, the D33. And that was announced on the 4th of January last year. Sheikh Mohammed has said that every 4th of January, he's going to announce something major about Dubai because that was the day of his ascension on his throne. So the Dubai Economic Agenda is looking right now at in doubling the economy. We talked about it in the last video. From 14.2 trillion, we're going up to 25.6 trillion in the next 10 years. So it's the D33. So it's a smaller agenda within the larger urban agenda. So we're looking at doubling the economy. The eventual target is 32 trillion as our economy by 2033, but we are realistically looking at the 25.6 trillion. In addition to that, the foreign investments is doubling. 650 billion is what we're looking at foreign direct investments in the city of Dubai. And that is being fueled by the economic agenda. Thirdly, we are now creating 3 new business and logistic corridors, economic corridors. That's what they call it. We are creating one with Latin America, and the answer for that is obvious. We are now part of BRICS. You have Saudi Arabia and Iran that has been brought into it. So this whole part of the world is now being brought into this major new conglomerate, if you want to call it, a conglomerate of countries. And we've got all the power hitters in there. There's the Russia, there's China, there's India. And what's really good for us is it shows the confidence that a country like UAE, a 30-year-old country, technically has been included with these global powerhouses as countries. So we are opening to Latin America because we now need to improve business with that as a result of BRICS. The second economic corridor is coming up with Africa. The fastest growing continent is the baby continent of the world, but it's the fastest growing continent in terms of opportunities, and the UAE is opening a logistics corridor there. The third corridor that we are opening up is Southeast Asia. We have already seen the Asian influence in Dubai. China is coming back. Countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Japan are looking very heavily into investing in Dubai. So these 3 new logistics and economic corridors are part of the D33 agenda. In addition to that, we are doubling our trade routes. We are going to add 400 more cities in the next 10 years. That's an average of 40 cities every year, new cities with which Dubai is going to establish business. So you're talking approximately 3 new cities every single month. Dubai. So almost every week, we're adding a new city to the trade route. That's how aggressive the plan is. And that's the reason why we are going to be doubling our economy. It's also the reason why the world is now coming to Dubai. And we are going to see the 2.5 million people being added to our population skyline, if you can use that word, in the next 10 years. So we are in a very, very strong place. We have the second most stable economy on the planet, Switzerland being number 1. This came out in the US News and World Reports. So when you have the second most stable economy on the planet, when you have one of the most aggressive annual GDPs where our economy is going to double, when you are opening new logistics corridors, when you have the golden visas, which is just attracting the whole world into Dubai, how is it possible that an industry like ours will not flourish? Because another word I would use to describe real estate is infrastructure. If I had to have another term, and you cannot have an economy growing and developing without infrastructure growing and keeping pace. So we need hotels. You have 80 new hotels coming up on Palm Jebel Ali. On the Deira Islands, you have another 80. That's 160 hotels in just 2 projects coming up. We have the biggest airport in the world, which can handle 25 million passengers a year. So we need infrastructures. We need hotels. We need malls. We need retail. We will need nightclubs. We will need residential communities. We will need towers. We will need commercial space, warehouses. There is no way an economy can grow without having the real estate infrastructure in place. So when people do not understand these economic agendas, the Dubai Urban 2040 plan or the economic agenda, and when they separate real estate and look at it as an industry in isolation from the economic agenda, it will never make sense. That's the reason why people talk about it as a bubble, because they are not looking at it along with the economic agenda. All the big developers who are launching now, with 23 years of experience with them, They are not operating independently. They are part of the 2033 agenda. They know what the ruler of the city and what Dubai is trying to do. And that's why we have the launches. We had 37,600 units that got handed over last year. We had 77,000 additional launches that happened. 70 launches units, 77,000 additional units have been launched, and we are still short of homes every year from now for the next 5 years. All these additional launches are inventory that will be available from 28 to 30. That's what's going to happen. The Palm Jebel Ali is not finished yet. They've just started. There is so much more to come out there. Deira Islands has got so much more to come out. You've got other new master communities. Imar is announcing 2 new ones. The existing mega communities have got so much of inventory not yet launched. All of this is part of that grand vision, and you will see phase by phase launches as more and more people are coming. So either you are an incredible winner if you're in real estate today, or if you're still hesitating, you're an incredible loser.
You are listening to Take Charge podcast, hosted by
Anthony Joseph.